It's my honor and pleasure to introduce illustrious explorer, adventurer, mountain climber, and also the son of late Sir Edmund Hillary, Mr. Peter Hillary.
Well, thank you, Kumar. It's wonderful to be here, wonderful to see such a great group of people for this special event. And thank you, Dr. Malden, for letting us have this event right here. Now, last year was the 60th anniversary of that first climb of Mount Everest. And of course there are all sorts of celebrations. I was over in London for a special event at the Royal Geographical Society. And while I was preparing to go there, I found myself thinking about, what was so special about that particular event, the first ascent of Mount Everest. And I just want to read you a paragraph what I wrote about it. While Ed Hillary and Tenzing Norgay just wanted to climb the mountain because no one had reached the summit, it never occurred to them that this daring climb into the physical and physiological unknown expanded the realm of possibility for every one of us down near sea level. Not that Kathmandu's that near sea level, but we'll just let that go. The fact that we too could climb the highest mountain if we wanted to. And in the same way, Neil Armstrong expanded our perception of what was possible by putting a boot print on the moon. Now, most of us will never climb Mount Everest or land on the moon, but we know we can. That is a giant leap in terms of what we think is possible, and now we know there are few barriers to our capability given the skills, innovation, motivation, time, and teamwork. The truth is, we are all liberated by the successes of others because their successes show that it can be done. And I think that's what Ed Hillary and Tenzing Norgay did on that British expedition back there in 1953. But as it has been pointed out very quickly, my father sort of moved on. Well, he moved on to a lot of other expeditions, going to the South Pole and many expeditions in the Himalayas. But he also began working with the local people up there around the foot of that mountain that had given he and Tenzing that great adventure. And you know what? It was never easy, even for a man of the stature of Ed Hillary, to raise money. So what he would do is resort to making little films. And I remember clearly, and I think this really illustrates the sort of man my father was. We were making a short film to use as a fundraiser around the various foundations around the world. And Mingwa Sering, my father and I, were sitting on a large boulder on the outskirts of Kumjung village with the mountains out behind. And the idea was we'd be talking about mountaineering. The camera was at a steep angle to make it look as if we were high in the hills, and talking about what we wanted to accomplish among the villages in the foothills of the great mountain. And of course the camera's rolling, and this is all working. We've got ice axes, we're really looking the part, and around the corner came a group of people, a group of trekkers. And one of them looks up, and we immediately assume that he's recognized, the first man to climb Mount Everest. And he goes, excuse me. And we thought, yep, no, he's definitely recognized Ed Hillary. But I thought you might like to know, he said, and he's pointing straight at my father, who was just casually holding his ice axe. And he said, but real mountaineers don't hold their ice axe like that. Well, we thanked him for his observations, and he trekked on, and we were sort of sniggering with laughter a little bit, because we knew as he went down the hill, he invariably would be told who he had just given his mountaineering advice to. But what I rather liked about that was the fact that Dad found it funny too. He didn't find it impudent or difficult to deal with. And it's because he had a genuine affection for the people he'd climbed with, and he wanted to make a difference. And it started around a campfire sitting with a group of local Nepalis, and he asked them, if there was one thing I could do, what would it be? And the answer was, would you build us a school? And I think that was a remarkable start. And that school building in Kunjum is still there, a little aluminium building, and the expeditions kept happening. They went on high-altitude physiological research expeditions. They even looked for the Yeti and had Marlin Perkins from the United States involved, more climbing expeditions, and there were more petitions from local people. And over the years, over 42 schools and hospitals were built up in the Solukhumbu region. Richard Blum from the American Himalayan Foundation told me, about a decade or so ago, that the Ed Hillary approach for such programs had really become a model for all small, successful programs. Lean, small, and effective with great people networks. And I think that's true. But just a few years ago, in 2010, I was in Kathmandu, and I had breakfast with Dr. Mingla Galvin over here. And we were had a wonderful, lots of coffee for me and cups of tea and a wonderful breakfast. And I'll never forget it, Dr. Mingla, when you said to me how my father just kept coming to Nepal every year. This man from the other side of the world, so far away, and he just kept on giving. And I greatly respected what you said and the emotion that you said it with, and the fact that you said that you would also be doing the same. And I really salute you for the programs that you run, and greatly appreciate the comments you made about my father. But I'm here now to go with a group from the Australian Himalayan Foundation. We're supporting a teacher training program in the Solu area, and so we're flying into Kangal in 2 days' time and down into some quite remote villages, and we'll be actually going and seeing some of these programs actually in position in some of the schools. The 60th anniversary at the RGS was an astonishing experience. The Queen and Prince Philip were there. We were given a series of presentations. The British do it absolutely on the knocker at 8 p.m. precisely. There was a knock at the door, and everyone stood up, and in came Her Majesty the Queen, followed by Prince Philip, and onto the stage with the various mountaineering speakers there at the Royal Geographical Society. And I shook the Queen's hand, and then I shook the hand of Prince Philip. And you know how it is, you're sort of wondering what to say in a way. And I said, I could just imagine how much my father would have loved to have been there at that event. And Prince Philip straight away looked up in the air and said, oh well, he'll be around here somewhere. And you know what? I think the spirit of Ed Hillary is around here somewhere. I can feel it here. I can feel it with the various foundations, the various education programs that we're involved in, and in fact in the award that we're involved in here tonight. And perhaps rather appropriately, a new film has come out about my father, Beyond the Edge. And we're hoping it will be shown here in Kathmandu at some stage. It's about my father and his climb on Mount Everest. It's in 3D, which certainly grabs the attention of the younger generation, and it utilises the old 1953 footage with a whole lot of reenactments, mostly done in New Zealand, to fill in some of the gaps. Well, the Hillary Medal, and that's what we're here to present tonight, was inspired by Ed Hillary. It was inspired by the energy of a very energetic man, but I think a man with a lot of empathy, a lot of generosity. He was certainly an extremely generous guy. And I'm very proud to say that the other recipients of the award have been a pretty remarkable group. As Kumar mentioned, we've had Michael and Helen Schmidt, Alton Byers, Papa Tony Freak, Scott McLeon, and a very old friend of mine, Rita Sherpa, over here. And it's really a great pleasure for me tonight to formally announce the recipient of the Hillary Medal for 2014, Dr. Harshvanti Bisht from India. So please.